Hello everyone and welcome to this video. I'm Dr. Kavita Berry and I love talking about everything that creates beauty, mind, body, and skin. So in this video, we're going to talk about the foundations of yoga. And I always bring a lot of importance to yoga and yoga philosophy because they become the foundations of understanding mindfulness and how we can live a very empowered journey. So in this video, we're going to talk about the two core principles of yoga, which are called as Yamas and Niyamas. So stay tuned. So in this video, I'm going to start off by saying that the core understanding of yoga is very, very comprehensive. It does not limit you to just the physical practice of yoga. So yoga is, the basis of yoga is its philosophy. And when we understand the philosophy of yoga, we understand that it is way beyond the physical exercise or the practice of, being upside down or being super flexible. It is so much beyond that. So I'll start off with what are yamas and niyamas and what are we talking about. So centuries ago, the great sage Patanjali had sat down and written the core philosophies of yoga. And he called it the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The sutras meaning they're connections, they're little beads that are connected together, so it's like a whole story. So he talks about the sutras of what yoga is going to be made up of. So in this, he starts off that the path to enlightenment is eightfold. There are 8 ways that you can reach into enlightenment. And of these 8, the 2 he describes as the yamas and niyamas. So they become the core foundations, the 8 limbs, and this is the first 2. So yamas, which are your duties to the external world, and niyamas that become the observances that you do for yourself. So that's the mindful aspect. So both combined become kind of moral conducts that one should follow if they want to be on this path of enlightenment or this spirituality path. So what are the yamas? So yamas are basically 5-fold. So there are 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. And it's really very simple. So the 5 yamas that he talks about is ahimsa. So what does ahimsa mean? Ahimsa is non-violence. So non-violence to yourself and non-violence to others. Simple enough. So when we also think about non-violence, I always bring up here is how you talk to yourself. How do you think about yourself? When you look in the mirror, are you constantly criticizing yourself? Or are you being kind to yourself? If you've had a hard day and things didn't go your well, how do you actually speak to yourself at the end of the day? Can you be more mindful and kind and non-violent to yourself? So ahimsa is pretty important, not just for the society and how you relate to others, as in not being violent to others in thought, action, or deed, but also not to be violent to yourself in thought, action, or deed. So that was the first yama. The second yama is satya. Satya means the truth. And so when you speak something, is it the truth? Is it necessary? Is it going to bring the change that you desire? Is it really truly what you want to express or who you are within? So satya is a lot about speaking the truth and also living your truth, as in being true to who you are, not trying to pretend to be XYZ because otherwise society won't accept you. And so the more we find ourselves breaking those barriers of what society wants us to be, but we start to live our own truth, we start feeling more and more connected to ourselves. And that is satya. Now the third yama is aparigraha. Aparigraha is really it's a sense of non-attachment. So you have, you do things, but you're not completely trying to, hoard it or say that this is mine, I did this or I have this and no one else can have it. So it's kind of having this sense of letting go, or this sense of having this freedom of, okay, it's there, but it's not something that I'm going to take with me when I pass on. So I come alone and I leave alone, so it's really nothing that I'm going to take with myself. So it's that higher perspective that you start having about relationships, about work, about the things you do, the things you have, just having that very higher vision, or that kind of like that eagle eye view, like from high up there, and kind of seeing the bigger picture. So that's more of the aparigraha. The next one is brahmacharya. Now, brahmacharya can be understood. Now, brahmacharya literally means to be celibate. However, in the modern age, how can you understand brahmacharya? Brahmacharya can be understood as practicing restraint. So not letting go of your energy too quickly. Now, this is definitely, sexual energy. So not very, having a very active sexual life with multiple partners, because that definitely gives away a lot of your energy. Being mindful of that, being mindful of who you're connecting with. Also, it means not giving away your energy in crowds or groups that don't really vibe with you. And we've all had those circumstances that we're in groups where we just feel like, okay, this is not my vibe. And so when you kind of have that gut feeling, it's just best to kind of walk away. And so that is basically what kind of having that sense of brahmacharya, or that sense of control, really means. Now, the last yama is isteya, which means to not steal. And when I say not stealing, in the literal sense, of course, what is not yours, you're not taking, but also in like a, literal sense of, a philosophical sense in which you are not taking what is not your idea, or that is not your concept, and you're taking someone else's idea and kind of calling it your own without giving you credit. So that is definitely something that is also considered a type of stealing. So asteya, or maintaining that, or being mindful of those things that to give due credit where someone deserves it, and just being free of that notion of trying to take or take advantage of something that is really not yours. So those were the 5 yamas. So we had ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the niyamas. So niyamas are more like observances that you do for yourself. Simple enough. 5 niyamas. 1 is cleanliness. So that is something that, as most adults, we know that we feel really nice and healthy when we've taken the shower in the morning, have clean clothes on, take care of our surroundings, not have too much clutter around. All of that will give that higher vibration, the more positive feeling in our lives. Being organized with your book bag or your pocketbook, and just being organized even with your wallet. It's all about the vastu, and I've made videos on vastu, which is nothing but feng shui, or feeling or allowing that flow of energy in your space. So, definitely saucha, or cleanliness, goes in many different ways. So kind of keeping that neat and tidy self, neat and tidy surroundings. So that's like an observance that is required in the niyama limb. And the next one is santosha. Santosha means contentment. So really finding that sense of contentment when, say you've done the work and you kind of take away like, okay, what's going to happen? Are they going to like it? Are they not going to like it? But just really take the moment to appreciate the fact that you have completed the work, that the fact that, you've taken that time and put your mind and effort into something, and you derive a sense of contentment from it. Even if you've had a long drive in traffic, I'll just give you an example, and I drive a lot. Even if you've had that long drive, you can just find that sense of contentment by listening to a good book, or listening to a good, podcast, and just learning something from it. So it's like that extra 20 minutes that you were sitting in the car, you've actually utilized it and done something wonderful with that time. And so you derive a sense of contentment out of it. So we always have that choice to feel content about something rather than feeling irritated about something, right? So that's always our choice. So that's santosha is something that is a choice for us. Now, the next niyama is tapas. Tapas means self-discipline. Now, tapas is also, when you're, say, studying for an exam, or you're putting a project together and you have a deadline, and you know you're going to need to put a certain number of hours every day to complete the project, and the discipline, from experience, the discipline is going to give you the results that you want, or the consistency is going to give you the results that you want. So same thing applies in yoga, is having that consistency in your practice, having that consistency of, I'm going to go to the gym no matter what. I'm going to do my yoga practice no matter what. I'm going to do my 10 minutes of meditation no matter what, because it gives me my zen for the day. So having that sense of discipline, and this is my sacred space. I'm going to sit in the corner. I'm going to do my thing every morning before I step out of the door. And that is tapas. That is that sense of devotion, that sense of, really caring for your own needs, for your own, being mindful of things that benefit you and sticking to it. So that is tapas. The next niyama is swadhyaya. Now, swadhyaya is a very important niyama, in my opinion, because it means, literal meaning is self-study. That means that you are on this path of understanding your existence, getting enlightened about your evolution as a human. Why did you incarnate? Why did you come here? What is your purpose in life? And in this journey, you're taking out the time to really educate yourself with different philosophies and concepts of life, whether they're esoteric philosophies, whether they're yoga philosophies, or just in general, like mindfulness books or self-help books. And that to me is swadhyaya. You're constantly doing things to increase the knowledge in your mind, increase your awareness of this creation, increase your connection with this creation by allowing that information to flow through. So you're using your senses, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, everything, the information that is coming in for you is bringing you more knowledge. And that is swadhyaya, or self-study. Now, the last niyama is Ishvari Pranidhana. So Ishvara Pranidhana means, literal meaning is surrendering to the Ishvara, or the Isha, or the Krishna, or the Christ. You're letting go and you're surrendering to that Almighty. So having that sense of, now, is it always easy to surrender? No, I feel surrendering is one of the hardest things on this journey, is to really trust the universe, really trust that higher power. I felt that was one of my strongest, or I should say, not strong, it was one of the hardest things to figure out, is how do I let go? How do I just trust that things are just gonna fall into place, and I'm just gonna understand it eventually, and that trusting is key though. So once you start practicing letting go and having trust in the universe and having faith in the universe, and you kind of just set the intention for the day and just, universe, you've got the wheels, you run the show, and you take me where you need to take me. And that kind of a surrender is what Ishvara Pranidhana means, really literally letting go or surrendering to a higher source. So guys, this was a short video on the Yamas and Niyamas. So I'm just going to recap really quick. The 5 yamas are ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. All right, so we had nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, moderation, which is brahmacharya, and the 5th one was non-hoarding. Now, the 5 niyamas are saucha, Santosha, Saucha is cleanliness, Santosha, which is having contentment. Then we have Tapas, which is self-discipline, and Svadhyaya, which is self-study. And then we have Ishwari Pranidhana, which is letting go or surrendering to a higher source. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Definitely check out the links I've put down below and visit our website if you're interested in more esoteric philosophy, and even doing a whole, there's a 6-week course that we have that's on empowering the mind, that is, a more in-depth understanding of philosophy and how there are exercises as to how you can build your sense of well-being, empower your mind, and really have a very, structured way of doing that using esoteric concepts and yoga philosophy. Then definitely check out our education page on Be Mindbodyskin. So I will see you in the next video. I hope you liked the video. Please do subscribe to the channel and like this video or comment below so I know you guys are liking this content. I really appreciate you listening. Namaste. Thank you.